I'm reading all the op-eds and seeing all the points of view on the news. Will the fragile Israeli-Gaza ceasefire hold? Of course it won't. Why would it ever have? It happened because Netanyahu gave a hat tip to the Donald who wanted it to happen to pave the way for his inauguration and second presidency. But everyone knew that it had to be short-lived, and I'm using the past tense because it's 100% certainty that it's going to collapse. Sorry, it's not what I want to happen, it's what will happen, because Netanyahu's survival depends on active war with the Palestinians. His right-wing coalition will not allow Hamas to exist, period. I need to repeat that. As long as Netanyahu is in power, and it looks like he's here to stay for a while, quite some time, Hamas is not going to be able to exist. There's no way, none, zero, that the Israelis are going to allow conditions in Gaza to exist where Hamas is recognized as Palestinian leadership there and they have any kind of military presence. Full stop. So all of this placating and negotiating and back and forth and the hostages, truly tragic, not to mention the tens of thousands of Palestinians who've been wasted. There's always this asymmetry between the lives of Israeli Jews and Palestinians. That's a whole separate story. But what I'm talking about is just smelling the coffee on the conflict. No ceasefire. They're going to keep grinding it out until what can give? Well, Trump has proposed exiling all of the Palestinians out of Gaza. The West Bank is going nuts now. All eyes are usually on Gaza, especially after October 7th. But the West Bank is completely out of control. The Israelis are annexing more territories. They're building more settlements than ever before. Mike Huckabee is now ambassador, who said out loud that the Israelis should completely annex the West Bank, completely take it over, while Trump, as I mentioned, as we all know, has recommended that we, the U.S., take over Gaza and turn it into a bunch of hotels and casinos. So, you see where I'm going with this? Stop smoking things regarding the future of the Palestinians and Israel. It's not going to happen. What's the end state? I don't know. I don't think anyone knows. But for 70 years, the Israelis have been kicking the can down the road. I don't think they've ever wanted a two-state solution. Some Israelis have. The Haaretz newspaper, left-wing Israelis have been humanistic. They've really believed in a two-state solution. But I would venture to assume that a majority of Israelis never did. And it is frankly a relief, this clusterfuck, because they consider a Palestinian state an existential threat. Not anymore. Israel is more powerful now than it ever has been, ever, in its entire history. Gaza is leveled. The West Bank is really being annexed. Hezbollah got its ass kicked. And now all eyes in Israel aren't on Hamas. It's on Iran. And my next prediction is Netanyahu is going to rope us into a military confrontation with Iran. Why? Because Israel considered two things existentially threatening to its existence. Number one, a Palestinian state on its own home turf. And number two is a nuclear Iran. And now that they've pretty much taken off the board any hope for a Palestinian state ever, they're going to look to Iran, and now is the time to neutralize Iran's nuclear program. I repeat that because to me it's equally obvious. Now is the time to neutralize Iran's nuclear program. Is it what I want? Is it what I think they should do? Who gives a shit about my opinion? I'm merely articulating what I feel is the obvious, based on the strategy and the motivation of all the players in the region. Israel is the power. They've taken care of the Palestinian problem, and now they want to take care of the Iranian problem. And Trump and Netanyahu are like this. They should be like a three-way with Putin, Donald, and Netanyahu, because they're all tight. So get set, because that is going to happen too.